Listen to this. Nobody is saving you in the way your fear has been hoping for, and that truth is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to free you. You have spent enough time waiting for a rescue that would arrive from outside, from someone else, from a perfect moment, from a voice that would finally make the heaviness disappear. But life does not usually change that way. Your next season will not begin because someone else carries you across the finish line. It will begin when you realize that the strength you have been asking for is already being shaped inside you. Breathe with me for a moment. This is not a message to shame you. It is a message to return you to your own hands, your own choices, your own small steps. The Creator has placed in you more resilience than you have credited yourself with. You have been surviving, yes, but survival is not the same as hopelessness. Survival means there is still something alive in you, still something willing, still something that can grow. You may feel tired, but tired is not the same as finished. You may feel delayed, but delay is not destiny. You may feel unseen, but unseen is not unloved. Remember this truth. Other people are busy living their own chapters. They care, some of them deeply, but they cannot become the author of your life. They cannot decide what you heal, what you release, what you repeat, or what you finally refuse. That work belongs to you. This can feel lonely at first because many hearts secretly hope that a kind person, a wise mentor, or a lucky turn will do the hard part for them. But your life does not transform through hoping alone. It transforms when hope becomes movement, when movement becomes habit, and when habit becomes a new way of being. You do not need to become harsh to become responsible. That is important. Taking your life seriously does not mean becoming cold toward yourself. It means refusing to abandon yourself. It means saying, I will not keep pretending that what drains me is harmless. I will not keep delaying the decision that keeps my soul small. I will not keep waiting for perfect confidence before I begin. You can be gentle and still be firm. You can be compassionate and still be clear. You can be tender with yourself while also telling the truth. In fact, truth is one of the kindest gifts you can give yourself. Feel it in your soul. There is a difference between being supported and being carried. Support can encourage you, guide you, and steady you, but carrying your life for you is something no one can do forever. If you have leaned too long on excuses, on fear, on other people's opinions, or on the idea that someday things will somehow fix themselves, this is your wake-up call. Not a cruel one, a loving one. A call that says your life matters too much to be left on autopilot. You were not made to drift. You were made to choose. Your choices are not tiny. They are shaping your nervous system, your peace, your relationships, your habits, your future. What you repeat becomes what you rely on. What you avoid becomes what grows louder. What you nourish becomes stronger. That is why progress begins with attention. What are you feeding every day? What are you making room for? What do your mornings say about your hopes? What do your evenings say about your boundaries? What do your private habits say about the story you are telling yourself? These are not questions to punish you. They are questions to wake you up gently. Listen to this. The moment you stop asking someone else to rescue your life is the moment you begin to recognize your own power. That power is not loud. It does not need to dominate a room. It is quiet, steady, and honest. It is the power to say no when something is costing your peace. It is the power to ask for help without giving your responsibility away. It is the power to keep going after disappointment without turning bitter. It is the power to forgive without returning to what wounded you. It is the power to begin again without announcing it to everyone first. You may have been waiting for a sign. Maybe this is the sign. Not that everything will be easy now, but that you are ready to participate in your own healing. There is a moment in every life when waiting becomes too expensive. Too expensive in time. Too expensive in energy. Too expensive in the quiet erosion of self-trust. You cannot keep paying for delay with your peace. You cannot keep renting your life out to old patterns. You are allowed to take your life back one decision at a time. That is how real change begins. Not in a storm. In a decision. Breathe with me for a moment. You do not need to fix everything today. You only need to stop pretending that nothing is yours to touch. Even the smallest act of responsibility matters. Making the appointment. Having the conversation. Turning off the thing that numbs you. Putting the phone down. Getting up on time. Drinking water. Writing the truth. Taking the walk. Saying I am ready to do this differently. These are not little things when they are part of a new direction. Small steps become a new identity. The future is often built by what seems almost too small to matter. Nobody is saving you does not mean you are abandoned. It means you are being invited to awaken. There is a holy dignity in discovering that your life is not a waiting room. It is a workshop. It is a garden. It is a place where your attention can plant something better. You have been given breath, awareness, a mind that can learn, a heart that can soften, and hands that can build. That is not nothing. That is enough to start. Enough to choose honesty. Enough to choose discipline. Enough to choose healing over hiding. Enough to begin the slow return to yourself. Remember this truth. People who love you may cheer for you, but they cannot walk every step inside your skin. They do not feel your thoughts the way you do. They do not wake up with your history in their chest. They do not carry your exact pattern of fear or your exact hope for tomorrow. So while encouragement is beautiful and community is precious, neither can replace your own participation. You still have to meet your life. You still have to decide what matters most. You still have to keep the promises you make to yourself when nobody applauds. There is no shame in needing help. Let that be clear. Reaching out, asking questions, leaning on wise support, all of that is good. But help is not the same as rescue, and rescue is not the same as growth. Growth asks something of you. It asks for presence. It asks for honesty. It asks for patience with the process. It asks you to stop calling every obstacle proof that you should quit. It asks you to see discomfort as a companion to change, not a sign that you are failing. The moment you understand that, you become harder to discourage. Feel it in your soul. There are reasons your life has not moved the way you expected. Some of those reasons are outside your control. Some are not. Some delays were protection. Some were consequences. Some were mercy. Some were warnings you ignored. Some were choices you kept repeating because they felt familiar. This is not about blame. It is about clarity. Clarity is kind because it helps you stop fighting shadows and start dealing with the real thing. When you can see the truth, you can respond to it. And when you respond to it, your future begins to loosen. The future is not waiting for perfection. It is waiting for participation. You do not need to become a flawless person before life opens to you. You need to become an honest one. Honest enough to admit what is draining you. Honest enough to admit what you keep tolerating. Honest enough to admit what you secretly want but have been afraid to pursue. Honest enough to say, I have been smaller than I needed to be, and I am ready to change that. That sentence can become a turning point. Not because it is dramatic, but because it is true. Listen to this. Your life begins to shift when your standards shift. If you keep accepting what weakens your soul learns to expect weakness. If you keep surrounding yourself with noise, your mind forgets how to rest. If you keep avoiding difficult conversations, your heart stays trapped in unfinished stories. If you keep calling pain normal, pain becomes a habit. But if you begin to choose what is healthy, steady, and aligned, something deep inside you starts to trust again. That trust becomes energy. That energy becomes momentum. Momentum becomes a path. And a path becomes a new way to live. The Creator has placed in you a capacity for turning points. You are not locked into who you have been. That is a mercy. You can interrupt a pattern. You can stop a cycle. You can begin a practice. You can ask for support before collapse. You can tell the truth before resentment hardens. You can choose rest before exhaustion becomes your identity. Your life is more flexible than your fear tells you. That means hope is practical, not just poetic. Hope can be built into your schedule, your speech, your habits, and your boundaries. Hope is something you live. Breathe with me for a moment. Some of you are exhausted because you keep trying to control outcomes instead of guiding your own part. Control is heavy. Responsibility is lighter because it is honest. Responsibility says, I will do what is mine to do. I will let go of what is not mine to hold. I will stop waiting for people to become the hero of my story. I will become a faithful participant in my own becoming. That is not a burden. That is a release. It clears the fog. It gives you back your feet. It lets you move with dignity. When nobody is saving you, you learn to see your life with new eyes. You learn that waiting passively is not the same as trusting. You learn that self-respect is not selfish. You learn that every day offers a chance to practice courage in small, quiet ways. You learn that healing is not a single event but a pattern of returning. Returning to truth. Returning to the body. Returning to the breath. Returning to the promise that you are still here, still able, still becoming. The heart that keeps returning to truth is the heart that keeps growing. Remember this truth. The hardest part of change is often the first honest look. Not the fix, the look. Looking clearly at your habits, your disappointments, your excuses, your fears, your unmet needs. That look can sting because it removes denial. But once denial leaves, power enters. You can work with what is real. You can stop fighting your own reflection. You can stop blaming the weather when the house needs repair. You can begin where you actually are, not where you wish you were. That is a compassionate way to live. Reality is not your enemy. It is your starting point. There is a quiet strength in deciding that your next chapter will not be written by habit alone. Habit is powerful, yes, but it does not have to be your ruler. You can interrupt it. You can question it. You can choose a different response. The first time you choose differently, it may feel awkward. The second time, a little less. Over time, the new path becomes more familiar than the old one. That is how change works. It does not usually arrive with fireworks. It arrives with repetition, patience, and a willingness to keep going when the old pattern calls your name. Feel it in your soul. You are allowed to become someone who is easier to trust. That includes trusting yourself. You do not have to live forever in a cycle of promises made and promises broken. You can become the kind of person who follows through, even in small things. Small things matter because they train your inner life. A kept promise to yourself says, I am worth my own consistency. A broken promise, repeated, says the opposite. So begin with something possible. Something honest. Something you can sustain. Let the dignity of consistency build your confidence from the inside out. Nobody is saving you can sound harsh if you hear it through fear. But if you hear it through love, it becomes empowering. It means you are not powerless. It means your life is not out of your reach. It means there is still something you can do today. One message to send. One boundary to hold. One lie to reject. One habit to begin. One truth to practice. One conversation to have. One fear to name. One prayer to whisper. One decision to honor. You are closer to change than you think because change often begins with what you are willing to do now. Listen to this. You do not need to wait until you feel ready. Readiness is often the result, not the requirement. You start with willingness. Willingness opens the door for strength to meet you. If you wait for confidence before you act, you may wait too long. Confidence grows when you move. Courage grows when you remain present. Clarity grows when you stop avoiding the next step. So if you are unsure, begin anyway. Not recklessly but faithfully. Not perfectly but honestly. A willing heart can build a different life faster than a perfect plan that never leaves the page. There is something healing about realizing that your future is not hidden behind one grand event. It is built through 1,000 quiet decisions. The way you speak to yourself matters. The way you rest matters. The way you spend your attention matters. The people you keep close matter. The commitments you honor matter. The patterns you interrupt matter. The questions you finally ask matter. Your life is always listening to you. It hears the stories you tell about yourself. It responds to the way you treat your own becoming. If you want a different future, start by talking to your life differently. Breathe with me for a moment. Maybe you have been telling yourself a story that keeps you stuck. Maybe the story says, I am behind. I always fall short. Nothing changes for me. Other people move forward, but I stay in place. Those thoughts can feel true when they are repeated enough, but they are not the whole truth. You are not a failure because you have struggled. You are not a lost cause because you have been slow. You are not finished because you have been tired. The truth is that you are still here, and while you are here, change is possible. The Creator has not given up on your ability to begin again. That is important to remember. The parts of you that feel numb can wake up. The parts that feel afraid can soften. The parts that feel heavy can lighten. The parts that feel ashamed can heal. But healing needs cooperation. It needs honesty. It needs time. It needs your willingness to sit with what is true without immediately escaping into distraction. That might sound difficult, but it is also where freedom starts. The more you stay present, the less power old patterns have to control you. Remember this truth. Nobody can do the inner work for you. They can encourage you, but they cannot practice for you. They can guide you, but they cannot choose for you. They can love you, but they cannot become your discipline. This is not a punishment. It is an honor. It means your life is yours to shape. That can feel sobering, yes, but it is also hopeful. Because if your life is yours to shape, then change is not a fantasy. It is available. You are not waiting for permission to become more grounded, more honest, more free. You can begin. There may be grief in this realization too. Grief for the time lost. Grief for the choices repeated. Grief for the chances you let drift. Let yourself feel that honestly without collapsing into it. Grief can be a doorway, not a dead end. It can clear space for resolve. It can soften the heart enough to ask for help, to ask for wisdom, to ask for a cleaner way forward. You do not need to deny what has hurt you in order to grow. You only need to stop living as if hurt is the only thing that happened. It was not. Listen to this. The moment you stop outsourcing your life is the moment your energy returns. You no longer spend so much of yourself trying to guess what others will think, what others will do, or what others might finally rescue. You begin to gather your attention. You begin to use your strength with intention. You begin to ask, what is mine to do today? That question is powerful because it cuts through confusion. It brings the focus back to your own hands. And your own hands, even trembling, are enough to start building something honest. If your heart feels guilty for not changing sooner, Let that guilt become instruction rather than identity. Guilt can say, pay attention. It does not have to say you are hopeless. Learn the lesson without chaining yourself to it. Make room for a new pattern. Apologize where needed. Repair what you can. Release what you cannot. Then keep moving. Growth is not proven by never falling. It is proven by not staying down in shame. It is proven by a heart that says, I can still choose differently from here. That simple declaration can change the direction of your days. Feel it in your soul. Maybe the wake-up call is this. Your life will not become what you keep hoping for if your daily patterns keep contradicting your hopes. Hope without action becomes longing. Action without hope becomes strain. But hope joined with action becomes movement. That is where your life starts to open. Move toward the thing that feeds your peace. Move away from what steals your peace. Move toward the truth that asks more of you because it loves you enough to not leave you where you are. That is the shape of a wiser life. You do not have to do everything at once. In fact, trying to do everything at once often becomes another way of avoiding what matters most. Choose the next honest thing. The next healthy thing. The next thing that brings peace rather than panic. The next thing that aligns with your deepest values. This is how steady transformation happens. It rarely feels dramatic at the time. Feels like a quiet turning. But quiet turnings can alter the whole road ahead. Give yourself permission to turn. Give yourself permission to begin where you are, even if that is smaller than your pride wanted. There is a future version of you that will thank you for starting now. That version is not some stranger. It is you, more rested, more grounded, more honest, more alive. That future is reached through present choices. So do not wait for the perfect mood. Do not wait for everyone else to change. Do not wait for life to become easy enough. Start with what is in front of you. Start with what is possible. Start with what is true. Start with what you can hold today. That is enough. It really is enough to shift your path. Remember this truth. Responsibility is not a punishment. It is the doorway to agency. Agency means you are not helpless. It means there are things you can influence, shape, repair, strengthen, and release. That truth can feel intimidating if you have been avoiding your own power. But once it settles in, it becomes comforting. You are not locked outside your life. You are in it. You can participate. You can respond. You can choose. You can grow. You can begin again. That is the quiet miracle hidden inside taking ownership of your life. It returns you to yourself. Breathe with me for a moment. Let the breath remind you that you are still alive, still present, still capable of a new decision. Life does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be willing. Willing to tell the truth. Willing to stop repeating what hurts. Willing to lean into what heals. Willing to let your life be shaped by honesty rather than fear. That willingness may feel small, but it is not small at all. It is the beginning of a new chapter. And that chapter can start today in this moment with your next choice. Nobody is saving you, and that is the beginning of your freedom, not the end of it. You are not trapped in helplessness. You are invited into responsibility, into wisdom, into the sacred work of becoming. The Creator has given you enough light for the next step. Take that step. Then take the next one. You do not need to map the entire future tonight. You only need to be faithful with what is before you now. And as you do, peace will meet you. Strength will grow in you. Hope will steady you. Your life can still change. So reflect on what is yours to do. Pray in your own way. Connect with the divine in the way that helps your heart become honest and calm. Let this message be a gentle turning point. Do not stay where you keep waiting for someone else to do what only you can begin. If this word spoke to you, like, comment, and subscribe for more daily guidance, comfort, and encouragement. Keep moving. Keep listening. Keep choosing life. Your story is still being written, and you have more influence over it than you have been told. That influence begins now. One more thing matters here. When you finally begin, do not measure your worth by how fast you move. Growth is not a race. It is a return. Some days you will move boldly. Some days you will only manage one honest choice. Both count. Both matter. Both are part of healing. Be patient with the pace of your own becoming, and do not mistake a slow season for a dead one. Seeds do not apologize for growing underground. Roots do not ask for applause. They simply keep going. In the same way, keep going. Keep choosing what is true. Keep choosing what is clean. Keep choosing what gives your soul room to breathe. The life you want is built by repeated honesty, not by one perfect moment. So take the next step with courage, rest when you need to, and return when you wander. The Creator sees your effort. The Creator honors your willingness. And the Creator can breathe new strength into the places where you thought you had none left. Let this be your gentle reminder. You are not waiting to be saved by someone else. You are learning to rise. Breathe, trust, and begin again with the quiet courage already in you, because one honest step can change the whole direction of your days, and peace often arrives after you decide to stop waiting and start living. You are allowed to grow slowly, gently, and completely now.